Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be teaching you how to improve your horse's posture through relaxation. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right. So before we jump into all the techniques and the different positions we're going to be putting our horse in today, I want to give you a little bit of history. So in the past couple of years, my wife became an equine rehab practitioner. Her name's Emily Rose, and she owns Reaching Strides Equine. And what she does is do physical therapy with horses. And as she was doing this, I got to sit in on a lot of her presentations and things that she was learning and things that she was teaching other people to do. And one of the things that kept coming up was when you ask your horse to lower their head, when you ask them to round their back, to bend their ribs, these are positions that the horse can learn to get stronger in. And what's interesting about that is those are also positions that help our horses relax. And I was like, this is great because we're connecting these two things and they work synergistically. So any of you that have been following my videos for a while, you know that we work on mental, emotional, and physical. So physical is our horse's body able to do the things we want? Are they strong enough? Do they have enough endurance? Do they have the posture that they need? Also, do they have the conformation that we need to do some of the big performance maneuvers? The other part of that is mental, and this is the one I'm really big on, is your horse connecting to your idea? That's mentally, does your horse understand what's being asked of him, or is the horse just being kind of obedient and we're making him go in those positions? So I'm all about getting that connection. And then the last piece is emotional. Is your horse relaxed enough, calm enough, not getting emotional, not getting anxious as we're asking them to do these things? So there's three main parts that we're going to put together here. The first one is going to be bending the rib cage. So we're going to ask our horses to walk a circle around us, even trot a circle around us with a bend through the rib cage. I call this the 3-circle game. I've taught how to do this in other videos. We're just going to be applying it for the physical posture today. The next one is going to be asking the horse to lower their head down on the circle. When a horse lowers their head to when their nose is about level with their knees, they're in the optimal posture to get a nice stretch over their top line, and it also means they're starting to engage their core as they're moving. So these things are really going to help. And most of you probably know, if you don't know, a horse needs to be relaxed enough in order to be willing to put their head down. So we're going to go ahead and start going through these, and then we're going to throw in one more at the end. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get started. So first thing is our circle here. And the reason we want to bend the rib cage, so first of all, you got to understand that horses are all born with this natural counterbend on a circle. Whether we're on the ground or we're in the saddle, all horses naturally tend to do a counterbend. The reason they do this is a defensive posture. They kind of got one foot out the door, they're thinking about escaping. So one of the first things I like to teach horses is to put their body on a nice bend on a circle, okay? They don't need to go fast. They don't even need to do it for a really long time. We just need to get started with it. So we're going to ask her to bend her ribs. You can see her nose is towards me. Her ribs is to the outside of the circle. Now, if the horse is really tense, I might exaggerate this and push their hip out even further like that. This turns into what we call a partial disengagement, okay? And that's a little bit of an exaggeration from what I really want, but to start off, I'm just bending the ribs. So the big reason I'm bending the rib cage is also because when a horse is holding tension, they hold tension in their rib cage. And if you've ever been riding your horse and you hear them go and kind of blow out like that, it means they're releasing tension and they're taking full breaths. Another noise that you may have heard is a horse cantering around going, forgive my sound effects here, but they make this noise. And the reason they're doing that is because they got to breathe quickly because they're not taking full breaths, okay? So this means the horse is tense through the rib cage. This is also true with people. We don't really make those noises, but people also hold tension in our ribs. So taking full breaths helps us relax too. So by bending a horse's rib cage, we can typically get them to relax even quicker. So this is a really important thing to do in the warm-up. Once a horse can relax, they can improve their posture on the circle, and they can start to take on this nice bend towards us. Move it into a trot. So they can be kind of shaped up towards us, and she's just tracking nicely, and yeah, she's in a really good posture. Versus if she had her ribs towards us, her nose away, that would be a counter bend. We're not looking for that. Okay? Now, the next piece that we can add to this is asking them to lower their head. So once you get them bending their ribs on the circle, then you want to talk about lowering their head down. So you can ask them to lower their head first with a feel from the bottom here, right? We can start there. But then we need to teach them to lower their head on the circle. The way we're going to do that is we're going to lift up on this halter, and when the horse drops their head, we're going to release. So if you have a horse that wants to keep their head up high, all you're going to do is go, let me help you keep your head there. Let me help you with this. And when they say, I really want to have my head down, let's wait for it here. She put her head up high there. She really tried to drop her head. So I'll let go of it. Now watch. This time I'm going to ask her a little nicer. I'm going to go there. See, as soon as I start to lift up, you can see her head goes down. So she already knows this. And we have a video teaching a horse this earlier on, maybe a year or two ago. You guys can look that up. So yeah, now that the horse learns this in close range, now I'm going to try it on my circle. So that's the reason I teach the lift up, is because I need a way to ask them from a distance, okay? So we're out here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand and lift up on the halter. There, when her head goes down, my hand goes down. Let's try that again. So I'm going to lift up. Her head goes down, my hand goes down. I want her to commit to it a little more this time. There, so we're going to hold it a little longer. Very good. This is my kind of personal horse named Sage. She's a 6-year-old quarter horse. In case anybody's wondering, she's out of shape because she does more standing around in the wintertime when I ride all the other horses. So we're kind of just getting her back into work here. So this is a great thing to do with her to help her get in a little better shape. There you go. So when a horse's head stretches down, they also increase their stride in their hind legs. It gives them a little bit more of a stretch, and they can reach under with their hind legs a little better. So she's got a really nice position there. Very good. Now, I'm a horse trainer, right? So I'm not an expert at this physical therapy stuff. Talk to Emily if you want to know more about that. So I'm sure some of the experts will make comments of things I'm maybe missing here, and I could add more value to what the horse gets when they get in that correct posture. But this just kind of gives you an idea of what we're going for here. So these are little things that can help our horses relax from a training perspective, and then physically, again, there's all kinds of benefits. So let's go to the right now, and same thing. We're going to push the ribs on the circle. You have to get this one first. If you're not getting this step, and the ultimate thing is here is slacken the rope. You know, if you're really having to hold your horse on the circle, you might want to check out what your feet are doing. Sometimes your feet need to be moving backward on a circle like this, and that creates a little bit of draw, and that can help create slack in the rope, okay? Because the horse kind of ends up coming towards you a little bit, like that. You can see she kind of came in a little bit more. Once you have them nice and relaxed and bending their ribs, then you can start to talk to them about lowering their head. So I'm going to lift up, I'm going to hold. If it's not working here at a distance, I'm going to get closer to her, lift up where I can be a little bit more effective, hold, head goes down, I release. Very nice. This is another thing for me as a precursor to a nice canter departure. If you're trying to teach your horse to canter really nicely on line, you can set them up by asking them to get into this position first. Let's try a little lope here. There we go. Good. So you can see all these things kind of work together and fit into one. Now, I said there was 3. And the last one is simple, but it's not easy, okay? And what we're going to do now is we're going to ask our horse to lower their head here while backing up. So it's going to be head down, and now that she has her head down, now I'm going to ask her to back up with her nose about level with her knees. So this is a simple thing to ask for, but it's not easy. Then I'm going to ask her to come forward with her head down, okay? Again, this is simple, but not easy to do. And these are good, challenging posture things. And the reason it's hard to do is it's hard to relax a horse to relax with their head in that position while we're asking their feet to move. And a lot of times on the ground, we just don't ask for it that much. So those are some kind of fun things to try with your horse. And then if I was going to add one more, I would also say, could you start to side pass your horse with their head down? Okay, so you can see here just taking in a really nice posture and getting relaxed. Again, the reason we do all this, it's the opposite of having the head up. When the horse's head goes up, their back hollows out. And so they're using these muscles underneath here, and they're tensing and they're bracing. Their stride length is going to get shorter. Mentally, they're emotional. It's not going to feel as good to them, so they're not going to want to do it. So lots of reasons to work on your horse's posture. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and saddle her up, and we're going to work on some of these things in the saddle. The video that I'm about to make of doing this in the saddle is going to be featured on my Patreon page. So feel free to go in and check out my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Ryan Rose Horsemanship. Hopefully we can see you guys on there.